Hello and welcome to another episode of Power Tool Joinery with Bert. I'm here in the College of the Redwoods wood shop, and today I'm going to show you how to use a biscuit jointer machine. For assignment 6, you are required to cut a biscuit joint. A biscuit is a thin football shaped piece of beech, which is a type of wood. It's compressed and we're going to place it in a slot cut by a specialized machine. The purpose of a biscuit is to assist us in aligning pieces when we glue them up. It's pretty common when you put adhesive on two pieces of wood and clamp it, the adhesive is slippery and the pieces of wood will want to shift and move around. So the biscuit, if it's placed in the slot, will prevent that piece from shifting out of alignment. Biscuits have a lot of lateral adjustability, but not much across the face of the piece. And that's exactly what we want. This allows us some latitude when we're gluing something up, but keeps everything flush and smooth. Biscuits come in 3 sizes. They are labeled or stamped right onto them. This is a size 20. This is the largest. There's a 10, and then there is a 0. There are other specialty sizes. There's an FF, which stands for face frames, which is a small little biscuit which will fit into an 1.5-inch wide stock. And then there are some thicker ones that require a special bit and a different machine. But these are the most common. They don't have a lot of strength. You can actually snap them with your fingers, just break them. So they don't impart a lot of strength to your joint. They're more of an alignment tool. In this shop, we have 2 biscuit machines. They're both Porter Cable brand, and one is freestanding, meaning we can carry it around the shop. We can move it to our project and cut our slots. This works well for large projects. And then the other machine, which is exactly like this, is fastened down to a jig or a board, and that allows us to bring small pieces to the machine. We have a little bit better control. We can cut our biscuits in small, intricate places. One application would be in place of a slot for a spline in a miter, or like a picture frame. We could put a biscuit in there, and that would add enough strength to make our picture frame work well. Alright, the Porter Cable machine has a trigger on the back here. This is how you activate it. There is a lock button on the side. You can pull the trigger and lock it in. If you want to keep it running, you just click it again and it goes off. It also has well, let's show you the blade. If the handle is spring-loaded, you push forward on it, and you'll see that the blade protrudes out the front here. This is just a circular blade, round blade that cuts a kerf or a slot. It's a 5/32 kerf, and that's what is required for biscuits. There's a fence on the side of the machine, which you can adjust with this knob here. If you loosen this, the fence will pivot down. Probably the most common setting would be perpendicular, here 90 degrees for doing square edges. But there are many angles that you could set. You could even do miters. You could pull it down forward and you could cut into a 45-degree miter. Now I got it stuck. There is a height adjustment on the other side. There's this other knob where you loosen that, and then you adjust this knob, and you can raise and lower that fence to adjust to the thickness of stock that you're using. And on the left side of the machine here, there's a scale with a little indicator, and you adjust that to fit or accommodate the stock that you are cutting. So this is set really high. I would bring it down to 3/4 of an inch if I'm using the stock that we're going to be doing for assignment 6, and then I would lock this knob down. There's also a knob here that's labeled FF. There's a 0, a small, 10, and 20, and you can adjust it around to get to the size that you want. And for this assignment, we're going to do a number 10 biscuit. You can see the red mark there, and I've set it to number 10. This is a fine adjust bolt here that allows you to adjust the depth of the cut. If your biscuit's if it's not quite cutting deep enough, then you would adjust this bolt a little bit and tighten it down. And that's about all there is to the operation. Safety wise, you want to keep your fingers away from that, obviously. And oh, I forgot to point out, there's red lines here on the front. You would draw a line on your stock, which I'll show you here in a few minutes, line it up with that, and then you can plunge the cut into the wood. And now we're going to shift over to the other machine, and I'm going to show you how to cut the slots in assignment 6. Here we are at our fixed biscuit cutter machine, and I'm going to show you how to lay out a biscuit on your stock and how to operate the machine. For assignment 6, we should place our biscuit on the end nearest the miters and line up our miters. What we need is a line across the face of our piece that is the center of where we want the biscuit to be located. In this case, there isn't really any specific location or number or measurement that we need, just that we need the points to line up on the miter. So I'm going to use a square and just put a small line across the face. I'll show you the line there. When the points, the miters line up, the pencil line lines up. That's going to be the center point of our biscuit. And now, let's tip the camera down a little bit. We have our biscuit machine plugged in, ready to go. The adjuster knob has been set to 10. I'm going to use a number 10 biscuit, and we have our pencil mark located on the piece. This is fixed and held down. We're going to turn it on, and then we're going to plunge the blade into the stock. In this case, I have the dust bag connected to it because it blows dust across the room, and that'll help contain the mess a little bit. It's important when you put your stock up against the base here that you hold it nice and steady and firm. The blade is spinning, and it's going to want to cut, and it's cutting. It's going to want to catch, and it potentially could throw your material to the side. So I'm going to hold it nice and firm, turn on the machine, plunge the cut as far as it'll go. It's only going to travel in less than a half an inch. It's not very deep. So my fingers are fine here. It's safe as long as I hold it nice and tight. So here we go. I'm going to squeeze it on. And now for the other cut, I want the pencil mark up. I'm going to line it up with the center of the red mark and do the second cut. And it's as simple as that. The slot is a little bit longer than our biscuit. So you can see that there's a little bit of gap at the top and bottom, and that's exactly what we want. That will allow us quite a bit of lateral adjustment. If we miss our line by a little bit, it won't matter. We still have a lot of adjustment. Look at that. That's more than 3/4 of an inch between those two pieces, the two lines there. So a lot of adjustment. But the face is flush. Put some glue on there, the biscuit will swell up, and it will hold nicely. And that's all there is to a biscuit.